So Andy, with the first CAR T-cell platform approved by the FDA for relapsed diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, what's the buzz about? Why everybody's excited about it? And where do you see the field moving in the future?
Well, this is a new therapy. We're really targeting disease in a unique way. We're modifying patients' their own immune system to target the lymphoma. And this is really a unique opportunity. But we're at the very early days. These treatments have toxicities. And, we're still treating the relapsed and the refractory patient. And so we're not really sure exactly how it fits in the big picture of the outcome in patients with large cell lymphoma.
But do you see this evolving to other types of lymphoid malignancies beyond diffuse large B-cell lymphoma?
Well, absolutely. I mean, CD19-directed CAR T cells certainly can be applied in mantle cell lymphoma, in follicular lymphoma. But, these are not the only targets. There are others developing anti-CD30 CAR T cells for Hodgkin lymphoma and for T-cell lymphomas. So there clearly are great opportunities, but we also need to develop better CAR T cells, which is one of the objectives of our group here.
Absolutely, and that's what we're heavily involved in, developing second and third generation CAR T cells for not only diffuse large B-cell lymphomas, as you know, but also for mantle cell lymphomas and transformed lymphomas, looking at different platforms, technologies, combination with CAR T cells to hopefully not only improve the efficacy, but also to reduce the toxicity of these different CAR T cells.
And we've led the development of checkpoint inhibitors in Hodgkin lymphoma and evaluated them in the non-Hodgkin lymphomas. But there's an opportunity to ask about checkpoint inhibitors and CAR T cells because it looks like persistence of CAR T cells is going to be important for their efficacy.
You're absolutely right. So there are data to suggest that potential mechanism for resistance to CAR T cells is upregulation of PD-1 on the T cells, and therefore combining CAR T cells with the checkpoint inhibitors, anti-PD-1 or PD-L1, may enhance the efficacy. But as you know, we're moving beyond that. We're combining checkpoint inhibitors with frontline therapy for follicular lymphomas and diffuse large B-cell lymphomas. So we combine it with Benda and with R-CHOP in frontline setting, hoping that these immune checkpoint inhibitors may actually eradicate minimal residual disease in patients who are achieving CR. So we'll see how this will evolve. So there's tremendous amount of potential application for these agents, not just to treat visibly large tumors, but also to potentially eradicate minimal disease in circulating tumor DNA.
Well, one of the keys about immunotherapy is to actually generate an immune response, and certainly the development of the checkpoint inhibitors help us with reactivation of cells that have already reacted, but there are a number of interesting agents that could help generate an immune response, a novel T-cell response.
It's correct. I mean, these are like now serving as the new vaccines. In the old-fashioned way, we used to take tumors from patients and grind them and extract different proteins and give them to patients to induce immunity against their own tumors. Now we can do it artificially with drugs, so we can induce immunity with these checkpoint inhibitors, different versions of them, to enhance the patient's own immune cells to fight their own tumors.
And we have other opportunities. We have bispecific antibodies, we have antibody-drug conjugates, and where do you think they're going this year?
I think, again, the field is still evolving. So the first bispecific antibodies approved by the FDA for relapsed ALL. In non-Hodgkin lymphoma, the response rate is good, but not good enough to be approved as single agent. So there's a lot of combination strategies combining bispecific antibodies with checkpoint inhibitors or with chemotherapy, and also trying to improve on the platform of the bispecific antibodies by making more efficient and longer half-life, different administration route. So we'll see more of these things in the future.
And what about antibody-drug conjugates? There are certainly a number of interesting targets, and several of the trials, particularly in the relapse refractory large cell lymphoma arena, have been quite promising.
At least in a phase 2 randomized trial showed that the combination of polatuzumab with chemotherapy is much better than chemotherapy alone. We'll see how this will evolve with time and whether this would lead to approval strategy, but if it does, I think this will open the door for different treatments for patients with large lymphomas.